I loved last year's retreat so much that I'd made the intention that I'd come every year if possible, if I could afford it and I could, then I'd come every year. So as soon as I heard about it, it was without question I signed up for it because I loved last year's retreat so much. And there's no question or doubt that if it happened every year, I'd come every year. To be honest, I can't really pinpoint one thing because I love the lectures so much. I love learning from Sheikh Nadvi so much. And at the same time, I love the fact that there's other like-minded Muslims from across the world that you can freely interact with. Having time to yourself, having time to interact, learning from someone like Sheikh Nadvi, it's the combination of all three of those that I love so much, and that's the reason I loved last year's retreat so much, and I found that again this year even more. There's nothing, I mean, there's never a class of his that doesn't leave you awed and inspired, and every time you learn from him, you're learning from someone, you're learning from someone great. And every class of his that I've been on, I've either cried or laughed, and somehow he does that every single time. I don't know how. He's just someone I admire and respect so much. So being able to learn from him every day and having such long periods of time learning from him is just amazing. Yeah, it was the whole Tazkiyah lessons. It's that for me, that's the one that I benefited from the most. That's the one I've always wanted to learn about the most. And the fact that Sheikh gave practical tips on what the sins actually are, what the diseases of the heart actually are, and how to overcome them practically, and giving practical advice about if you're thinking like this and this means you're thinking. He just simplifies everything in such a beautiful way, and I found the Tazkiyah lessons just so helpful because they're going to help me in my day-to-day life. And I think purifying your heart is probably the most important thing that you need to do as a Muslim. So they're the lessons that I took the most from, and they're the lessons that I'll carry with me for the rest of my life, inshallah. And I hope I can implement them for the rest of my life. I believe, yeah, definitely. There's lots of time when you get time to yourself, time to reflect, and you never feel as if you're not getting enough time with Sheikh either because he's so approachable and he's easily accessible. If ever you wanted to have one-to-one with him, you could speak to someone, or even sometimes he's wandering outside, you approach him and he's quite happy to talk to you. So, and I'm happy that there's such long classes because you do want to feel as if you've learned something. When you've been away for this length of time, you want to come away knowing that you've learn a significant amount of information. So for me, it's been a perfect balance, and especially with the trips, it's been a perfect balance of having a few hours of study, a few hours of free time, and then having days out as well. So you feel like you've been on holiday as well. Yes, yeah. Especially geometry, which I wasn't expecting to like as much as I did, because I hated maths at school, and I didn't know what to make of it. And when it was time to sign up, wasn't going to sign up for it, and my sister said, "Oh no, you should really do that one." And I signed up for it, and on the day I wasn't feeling my best, and I just thought, you know what, I'm just gonna, even though I signed up for it, I'm gonna give it a miss. And I went, and within about 10 minutes, I was hooked on. Like, I just couldn't believe the intricacies of all the symmetry and the patterns, and now everywhere I look, I'm looking at symmetry. I'm looking at symmetry of patterns everywhere I go. So I loved that one more than I expected to, because the calligraphy I wanted to do and I was really keen to do, but geometry I didn't expect to enjoy it as much as I did. So that's the one I probably would say I've unexpectedly took the most from. The venue, I couldn't, the sister was saying the other day that she was walking behind Asim, one of the children on the retreat, a few days ago when we first got here, and he said, he said to his father, is this Jannah? Because he was so awed by it, and as innocent and as childlike as that is, even I had a similar thing, because when you look around and we see that this is just one portion of the world, one tiny portion of this tiny little world, and what Jannah is like compared to this, we can't even imagine. But I just couldn't imagine a more perfect place to come and reflect and have a retreat, because it's just stunning to look at physically. And even emotionally, mentally, you feel at one with nature because you're just surrounded by so much beauty. The vastness of it, the beauty of it, the peacefulness of it, the tranquility, the seclusion. To have a retreat, you could not find a more perfect place than this. It's almost as if it was built for a retreat, and it was built for us to come here one day and have a retreat. So for me, I can't think of a more perfect place, because it's a holiday, it's a retreat. You get the spiritual rejuvenation, you get the relaxation, the physical, everything you want from a holiday, you get that as well, because you get to go on trips and see the actual place you've come to. Beautiful food, nice company. You're learning from someone amazing like Sheikh Nadwi. You're with such nice company, people, like-minded people. You're getting to see a beautiful part of the world. It just ticks every box for me. So 100%, I would recommend it to anyone. I would recommend it to anyone even if they're not Muslim, because you can still take from it, even if you're not a Muslim. And I personally think it should be opened up to people that even aren't Muslims, because I know so many of my non-Muslim work colleagues and friends and people that would love to do something like this. And on Facebook, I've been like sharing like just pictures of when we've been going out on trips and etc. And one of my friends at work was like, "Oh, I can't believe you've packed this much in." And I was like, "Well, you haven't even seen the half of like so many things I've not even put on there." So I 100% would recommend it to everybody, not just my Muslim friends, everyone that I know.